Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's time to talk some Major League Baseball. It is Thursday and a lot of action already underway. Exciting baseball to go over. 30 minutes of fast and furious. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz along with Kyle Purviance. Jason, I'll start with you first. Yesterday, get a little good mojo. Hey, sweat those Reds, man. We got this. We got this.
And your Phillies came through in the first five as well. So had a little 2-in-1 day in the MLB. That felt good, but that Reds game was a sweat, and it shouldn't have been that way. They had left 20 runners on base before the extra innings. Finally got that. So 2-1 day. Happy about that. Already sweating one game today. So it's just how it goes.
Yeah, on the air today, the Phillies have been playing good baseball against the Nationals. Not so much today. Corbin on the mound, twisting those Phillies into a pretzel. Kyle, welcome to the show. Under the weather, but still, the show must go on, and you got to come to work.
That's right. Show must go on. We got to get to work. Can't have this silly pussification of America will not be happening here at Sportsbook Review. But I'm excited for today. I was happy about last night. The White Sox came through, and Nelson Cruz, another home run prop. We're on fire with that. So it was a good night. Thank you for everyone in the chat box. Appreciate seeing you guys, and happy to be with my brothers here on a Thursday morning. Let's rock and roll.
Bomba Squad, 85,800 subscribers now at sportsbookreview.com, right on our YouTube channel here. Thank you guys for the love and the support out here. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. So when we talk Major League Baseball right here on the channel in the afternoon, you can come in and say hello. We got a couple games that are live right now. And you know me, love to dip into some of these team totals. And the one I have my eye on right now as I look, Atlanta 4-3 over Toronto in the top of the seventh inning. Looks like a strikeout here for the Atlanta Braves. That number now drops to 3.5. So theoretically, there are 8 outs left to get 1 run against that Atlanta bullpen. And if you get that 1 run, you will cash this ticket. But what I like to look at here in Major League Baseball late in innings, give me a runner on base to create some leverage, and we're going to jump in on this Toronto game. So we got an eye on that one right away. Before we get to the rest of the games, I want to go with you first here, Jason. Games in action right now. What do you have?
Yeah, right now I am on the Brewers and Cardinals. Under 3.5 in the first 5. Currently in the third inning, Craig Counsell already ejected from the game as the manager of the Brewers. Third inning, 2 outs, guy on first. So it's 1-0 right now. Hoping we can get that under 3.5 in the first 5 between Flaherty and Burns.
All right, hitting this afternoon card because we do have a couple games to update here. 4-3 Braves over Toronto. That is in the 7th inning. Phillies down 4-1 versus the Nationals in the 6th. The Detroit Tigers, all of a sudden, the hitting Detroit Tigers up 4-0 over the Kansas City Royals. 1-0 Cardinals and Brewers. Minnesota Twins also. That game is 1-0 in the 2nd inning. Kyle, start with you first. Anywhere on these 5 that we're looking for, or do you have anything in action early on this Thursday afternoon?
I do. I have the Braves team total over 4.5 at -125, so I'll be sweating that out against a good Toronto bullpen. So that's not a guarantee just because they have 4 now. That is a good Toronto bullpen. Was hoping they'd get it done early off of Stripling, but we'll take the 4 runs. Well, we got 6 more outs at least, 6 more at-bats, so hopefully they can get that done. Or Toronto can tie the game there and send it to extras and almost guarantee it. Well, maybe guarantee unless it's the Red Sox, bottom of the Red Sox order, and they just can't hit the baseball. But, yep, rooting on that Atlanta team total here. And I sort of like that. I know the White Sox are up early, but I do think there's a little bit of value on the Twins maybe later on in the game when they get to that bullpen. White Sox obviously dominate lefties, not so much against righties. So I'll be looking at that Twins game as well.
Arthur Pacheco says, Fleming's, here we come, Donnie. Fleming's, Ruth Chris, wherever you want to go. It doesn't matter. Morton's, any great steakhouse along this United States we are going to get after here. And it looks like 2 outs now in the Atlanta Braves game here in the 7th inning. So we'll wait to see if an opportunity comes up. The tough part here is, with most of the time in FanDuel, which I think to me has the best live lines, they usually shut off their team total sometime in the 8th inning. So maybe we might have to jump on something if it's still there in the bottom of the 7th if we're looking towards a Toronto number, but we'll keep you posted if we fire on anything here. Flaherty versus Burns. We knew that was going to be probably a good pitching performance out of both guys. 1-0, not a lot doing there. 5.5 as a live total in that game. Philadelphia Phillies and the Nationals going into, I don't have a number on Corbin right now as I take a look at the screen on how many pitches he has, but if he exits that ball game and then you also get Eflin out of the ball game, maybe we'd be looking at something that where they can get to 8 runs, already having 5 runs here late in that ball game. So some interesting thing pops up. If we're looking on this card, Jason, optimum advantage on these early games, what would you be looking for maybe to jump in on a play, an under and over? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, right now the Braves are up 4-3. Look, I don't know exactly what the over is right now, but the Blue Jays, of course, can
9.
score. Yeah, the Blue Jays can score one more run. That makes it 8. Obviously, you can get 9. You have to get 9. So basically, a free roll from there. So yeah, look at the over for that game. I think the Blue Jays will be able to score one more run, and the Braves could have potential to score another run or two as well. So I think it's a good look there. I think you'll probably see more runs in that game specifically.
It's not a bad one. So again, as I was saying, most of the time getting used to FanDuel over the past month of how they do their in-game numbers, there are no more team totals here as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll see if they post them, but they typically don't. But they'll still let you get down with a run line, with a money line, and also a total, because you're looking at Toronto down 1 run. Plus 470 here as you head down the stretch. They score 1, you get to extra innings. That is a massive free roll. And anybody in their right mind actually would take the Braves minus 730 right now. Like, where's the value? Hey, yeah, they got a 1-run lead, I understand, and only 6 outs to go for Toronto. But that is a steep price here. But that 9 is something also to keep an eye on, as Jason said. We got 7 runs here, minus 104 to the over with the 9. If you get a leadoff double and that goes to, let's just say, 9 minus 120, why would you not take that? Because you basically would be free rolling after 2 runs and maybe already having one in the bank if that double comes home with a base hit. So some interesting things to look at here as we get through. But let's head into some of the marquee games later on tonight. 965, 966, Oakland and Boston. That is Manaea, the lefty, on the mound versus Richards, the righty. Looking across the board here, roughly a pick 'em. Minus 110s, minus 105s out here. A total of 9 across the board. Jason, I'm going to start with you first in this game. What are some looks here between Oakland and Boston?
Yeah, both of these pitchers have been better recently. Both of these offenses have kind of cooled off just a little bit as well. I'm seeing under 5 in the first 5 at minus 120. Yeah, the Red Sox have a solid lineup in the middle of their lineup, and the A's are solid against righties at times. They're better against lefties. So you got Brown and Olsen, basically the only 2 guys in the Athletics lineup, and obviously the Red Sox, you have those 4 guys, like Kyle said, and then outside that, the bottom of the lineup is terrible. So I think the under 5 in the first 5 is a good look at minus 120 in this spot.
All right, keep it moving here over to you, Kyle. Get some thoughts on this Oakland and Boston game. Manaea, the lefty. Usually we like Boston to bounce back possibly against Oakland today, but it's a pick 'em here, so you're not getting any cheap prices. This is the Oakland team we thought we would get. Scrappy each and every day with a chance to win the AL West.
Yeah, exactly. And they look like they're going to win the AL West. I mean, no team's really been hotter since that 1-7 start that they had, and they've turned in the A's that we kind of thought they were going to be. This is a tough one. If you're looking for a plus number, you could take the A's here in the first 5, minus 0.5 at plus 125. I do think there's some value there. And I agree with Jason. The under 5 in the first 5, minus 115 makes a lot of sense to me. Just neither lineup really profiles, there's that word again, very well outside of, Bogarts. Of course, Bogarts, Martinez, Devers, they're going to profile well against, not so much Devers versus lefties. But then the rest of that order is terrible. So if Manaea can get through those 3 guys, the rest of the lineup's pretty much a cakewalk to get through here. So maybe some plus money value on the A's in the first 5, but I do like that under 5. Makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, something has to give here because the lefties going up against Boston, being a left-handed pitcher against their lineup, they have some pretty good numbers here. Not a ton of ISO power, but all right in that range of above average to average, and also for strikeout percentage. That middle of the lineup: Verdugo, Martinez, Bogarts, Devers, 14%, 14%, 15, 14%. They're going to put the bat on the ball, which then again, Sean Manaea, 3.87 xFIP, which is decent. K range, 26%, which is very good. Walks under 5%. And when you take a look at the lefty-righty splits for Manaea, who again is a lefty, to left-handed batters, 183 weighted on base average and only a 300 to righties. So pitching above performance here for Manaea. We'll see where it comes back to. But this is a pretty close one. That's one that would bring it up to see if we had any added advantages. 967, 968, the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. If you watched that game yesterday, I was trying to find angles to jump in on this game and take it over. They really never presented themselves. And even when the Yankees were scoring late in that game, you get second and third, nobody out. You only force one run across, and that's all you needed. The ball doesn't travel in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay against decent pitching at home is wretched at the plate. So here we go again, looking at this game, minus 128s, minus 130s across the board, 7.5s and 8s as totals here. Tyone versus the lefty, Rich Hill. Jason, we'll go with you first again. Thoughts on this game down in Tampa tonight?
Yeah, Tyone, 7 home runs so far this season. He's allowed and you just hit it on the head. Balls don't fly in that stadium. So if he's able to limit the home runs, I think the Yankees have a little bit of an advantage there. And their offense, it's better against lefties. They have a ton of righties in that lineup. Could they get to Rich Hill? They already did this season so far. They had 4 runs against him earlier this season. So I think the Yankees are the play here. I think the Yankees should be able to score at least 4 runs, so maybe over 3.5. Team total, I think it's like the juice is like minus 160. But I do like the Yankees in the spot. I think they're the play here if you're going to take a side here.
Taking a look at the Yankees in the lineup here, Kyle. DJ LeMahieu, 374 weighted on base average versus lefties. Judge coming in at a 499. And also Gary Sanchez expected to be in the lineup at a 381. The rest of the lineup not doing that much damage. But that's baseball this year. You're not going to get very many green-lit lineups where it's like, hey, 7 out of 9 batters plus, and here we go, off and running. We do know Rich Hill is a crafty lefty. The ball doesn't travel down there that well. Are we looking at an over and under, or maybe just a side of this game to say, I'll take a cheap line on the Yankees because maybe you just trust that lineup more than you do Tampa Bay?
I mean, that's exactly how my brain is working. And I'm looking at a Yankees first 5 minus 135 money line. If you want to take them 0.5, you're getting plus 100. I think that makes a lot of sense. Look, you're right. There's only 3 hitters. I have 3 hitters in my player pool today for the Yankees. Judge, who I have a slight home run prop on, even though I don't love the ballpark, but Judge should be able to smash Hill. Lemieux, Luke Voit has a nice little advantage as well, and that's really it for me. But when you go to Tampa Bay, it's even uglier. I have one. That's Austin Meadows. That's it. And I just don't trust that Tampa Bay lineup. Yes, the Yankees can sometimes be head scratchers. It seems like the Yankees are the team when all the numbers point to the Yankees, they don't get it done. But again, all the numbers point to the Yankees. I think minus 0.5 at plus 100 makes a lot of sense. I think the money line over the whole game makes a ton of sense, and minus 135 in the first 5 makes a ton of sense. I'm all on the Yankees here.
There you go. Keep it moving down the list. 969, 970. This is going to be first pitch at 8:10 Eastern. Texas and Houston. Fultonavich versus Javier. 198 offshore at Pinnacle as a favorite towards the Houston Astros. 210s, 200s here in New Jersey. Looking at the numbers across the board, seemingly 9s across. Javier can be hit. Fultonavich can be hit. We'll see if that roof is open tonight. Typically, it's not down in Houston, so you don't maybe get that extra bump to the bats, even though 77 degrees, 6-mile-an-hour winds. It should be open tonight, but that's one of those caveats down in Houston that we wait for. Jason, we'll go with you on this one. Texas and Houston, what are some early thoughts on this game here tonight?
I hope it's open. I'm on the over 8.5 at minus 120. If it's not, fine. If it is, 8.5 obviously seems really low in that regard. Fulte, he's allowing 430 weighted OBA to lefties, 375 ISO to lefties. So you got 3 big-time lefties in that lineup for the Astros, Brantley, Alvarez, Tucker, but then also like Altuve, Bregman. That there's so many guys in that Astros lineup that can do damage against Fulte. He still has an ISO of 225 against righties. So a lot of power, a lot of extra base hits from the Astros. But then also Javier struggles versus lefties from the Astros, 321 weighted OBA, ISO of 160. The K's are also lower on the left side. Walks are high on both sides. I think the Rangers have a sneaky lineup against Javier. They have some lefties, they have some power that can definitely put the ball over the yard. You have like Calhoun, you have Garcia, Dahl, Gallo, Kiner, Felifa. So there's a ton of guys in that lineup that can kind of be sneaky against Javier there. So I think the over 8.5 is a great look. Obviously, if it goes 4-4, it's already a win. And I think both teams should be able to score 4 runs in this game.
No, and you know what's interesting here? Because I always like to be on the hunt and try to find ahead of time where that roof's going to be open. I'm looking at one thing that it's expected to be open, but I like to wait until the team actually announces it. Now, I'm on the Houston Astros Twitter page right now. 8 minutes ago, they put out a tweet. The battle for the Silver Boot begins tonight. Astros Rangers, Minute Maid Park, May 13th through 16th. The overhead shot of Minute Maid Park is with it open. So does that mean the roof is going to be open tonight? Are we reading too much into this? Because you're right. Yeah, when we are betting overs, If you tell me, hey, the roof's closed tonight, you go, I still like it. But when the roof is open, we perk up like, okay, now we got one here in that tiny-ass ballpark with the heat and humidity allowed in there. That ball is going to travel. So looking at it there, I try to overestimate and say, are they telling us that the roof will be open tonight? We'll see a little bit later with a confirmation. But right now, just that latest tweet that comes out, it's always funny to try to read between the lines or maybe jump something there. Kyle, looking at this game tonight, we know you don't like Fultonavich, so there you go.
Yeah. This one's pretty easy for me. And look, you're not getting a ton of value on the Astros, but I do love the Astros lineup tonight. To answer the perfectly timed question in the chat box, when you just look at the weighted 3-year OPS advantages here, actually Javier against Texas in his last 2 starts, a 36 and a 32 in terms of fantasy. He's really expensive on DFS today, and I think there's better options there, so I wouldn't necessarily play him there. But it's a 572. It's one of the lower advantages here for the opposing lineup against pitchers. When you go to Fulton Fadich against Houston, it's 1479, so you can see the numbers there. I do think there's some value on a home run prop for Kyle Tucker. He's been hot lately. The last 3 games, he's been really swinging the bat well. Of course, we know Fulte struggles against lefties, and Tucker smashes righties. So I think Kyle Tucker could be an interesting home run prop. I like that Astros lineup tonight. So I'm going to take that Astros team total over 4.5 minus 125. I think that makes a ton of sense here, and I do agree the game does dictate to an over, but I'm just going to root for the one side and hope the Astros get those 5 runs.
Exactly. It's really hard to back Texas, where you're trying to maybe, what's the best word I'm looking for here? Hold their own weight in these type of battles, because anytime you're looking at overs, you love a running mate. It's no big, because I don't look at it the same way where, like, let's just say, you have a team total in Houston, but Texas drops 4 in the top of the first. I don't I should have had the Texas. I look at the other way going, good. Now we got to get at least 5 runs. We're going to be in this game all the way through, because you're looking at the lineup here versus Javier. xFIP around 4.50, which is high. 30% strikeout rate, which is very good for a pitcher, but he does have some interesting splits here. To lefties, a 321 weighted on base average, but to righties, a 207. So we're trying to anticipate him getting into trouble and finally not getting out of it. But you do have some live bats in the lineup tonight for those Texas Rangers all the way through. Calhoun, 364. Nate Lowe, 432. Garcia, 393. Connor Falefa, 403. Weighted on base averages versus righties. They can hit, but you're right. When you're looking from specifically a Houston lineup perspective, they have some damaging bats in here. 7 out of 9 at bats, roughly right around that, ISO number that you look for as average. Most of them being elevated. They don't strike out a lot. If Fultonavich is a little bit off with that fastball, they should be able to connect. And let's, get that roof open tonight down there in Houston, Texas. Let's keep moving here as we go. Best bets on the Major League Baseball board. Yesterday, didn't have in thought process here laid out. I did like the over 4.5 plus 105 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Almost got lucky late in the innings. Man on first base, 1 out in the 9th inning, a rocket down the line that turns into a double play, which may have led to extra innings. That one didn't cash, but the thought process behind that was we weren't sure who the pitchers were, and then both pitchers were scrapped. That's the reason why early in the day, when you're not sure of the pitching matchup, you can't be like, hey, guys, let's fire in, play of the day. Love this. Doesn't matter who's pitching. We cap pitchers more than anything in the game. So that's the reason why I wasn't upgrading. Good for us, because I ended up losing that McDonald's wager. But tonight, I'm coming back with a nasty play. But before I get to that, Jason, hit it off tonight. Best bets and bankers from your perspective.
Yeah, so of course, right now I'm on the under 3.5 on the Cardinals-Brewers first 5 game. So we're sweating that one right now. But other 2 bets I have later today, Giants minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 110. This is kind of a deal with DeSclafani on the mound against the Pirates. You look at those numbers, and DeSclafani has struggled versus the Pirates in the past. And I know a lot of people are going to look at that, and they're going to get scared. DeSclafani, the Red, obviously, pitched versus the Pirates plenty of times. And this is the same thing as like what Matt Boyd's doing to the Royals. Struggled a ton against the Royals. Got a lot better this year. Really, resurrected his career. 2 games against the Royals, dominates. DeSclafani going to come back against the Pirates and dominate this lineup that looks absolutely terrible this season. And of course, they're without a couple of big players like Moran for one. So Giants minus 0.5 in the first 5. I like DeSclafani over Will Crow. Crow, obviously a pitcher that likes to walk a ton of batters. And guess what? The Giants love to walk and get on base and create havoc. Gives them a lot of chances to score runs early in this game. So I do think the Giants will score plenty of runs and win that first 5. The other bet we just talked about, the Rangers versus Astros, over 8.5, minus 120. it's for the full game, the over in that game. So can hope that the roof's open, but either way, I still like this bet.
All right, take a look. The Reds lineup official is out. Senzel, Winker, Castellanos, Moustakas, Suarez, Barnhart, Farmer, India, and Castillo on the mound pitching. I do think that I have Cincinnati circled here as a possible team total play as well, along with Houston and another game I'm going to get to in just a few moments. And we did miss out here on the Toronto Blue Jays as we were going over a couple. This is the hard part about hosting a show and going after it. Toronto Blue Jays score here, so it's 4-4 now. So now you are definitely getting that cashed in total of 8.5, whatever it would have been. That was a real live play, but the fact that I can't always just look at the TV and be like, hey, now there's a guy on base and we want to get after it. But see, if you're looking, I didn't make any money on that. But do you see how the scenario played out with what we were looking for and it cashes in? There's a lot of those instances in Major League Baseball where you can make a lot of money by waiting for a guy to get on base where the number doesn't change that much. The leverage goes against a bad bullpen, and there you go, 4-4 now in that game as it now sits at 10.5. So we'll keep you updated on that game as it goes through. Kyle, best bets and bankers for you today.
Well, you just beautifully and professionally touched on that Reds lineup, and that is my favorite play of the day. I like the Reds first 5 minus 0.5 at minus 110. Look, I'm not the biggest Castillo fan, but Chichi Gonzalez, not Chichi Rodriguez, one of my favorite golfers of all time. I used to love old Chichi out there twirling the putter, but Gonzalez. It's going to be a long day for him. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hitters with advantages of 16% or better. I do think there's some live home run props for both Suarez and Moustakas here. Their team total's high, where I have on my books 5.5. That makes me nervous. Now, it wouldn't shock me if they get there. I love their bats today in DFS as well. But I'll take that minus 0.5, minus 110 in the first 5 innings. And another Ohio team who I think will be really good today and should win the first 5 innings. I love Plesac against that Mariners lineup today. I think he can shut them down the first 5 innings. And we've got some advantages there for Cleveland's bats today against Gilbert, Hernandez, Rosario, Franmil Ramirez, even Jose Ramirez. Even though he's better against lefties, still very, very good against righties. So I like Cleveland as well in the first 5. Minus 0.5 at plus 115. So some value there in a couple of Ohio teams winning the first 5 innings.
Fantastic stuff here. So let's keep on moving along. I am going to hit it up. And finally, it's been since May 7th where I'm going to lay down the wood here on a play of the day, best bet and banker. And we're going to go to the city of Pittsburgh. And I'm going to fade Crow on the mound tonight, the right-hander, which used to be in the Washington organization. Let's just go back to, he hasn't pitched in 2019, obviously. 2020 comes back and he was a disaster. An xFIP of over 7, lit up from both lefties and righties. We fast forwarded over here to the 2021 season, which again doesn't have a ton of batters that he's faced coming into this year, this season. But a 5.92 xFIP, which means it doesn't matter when you look at his bottom line, 1 earned run, 2 earned runs, 3 earned runs, whatever it is. He's putting himself in trouble, which means not striking a lot of guys out, walking too many guys, and everybody hitting the ball in the air, which means the ball has a good chance to leave the ball yard. Now, tonight, when we take a look at a guy, as in Will Crow, 13.4% of the batters he faces, he walks. You know what's great about that versus right-handed pitching? Take a look at the San Francisco Giants this year. Talkman leading off, 12% walk rate. Yastrzemski, 13%. Posey, 12%. Belt, 13%. Crawford, 14%. Flores, 13%. Duggar, 9%. That means if the kid is a little bit off, you're putting traffic on the bases, and that means damage here. So I'm going to go with a team total over for the San Francisco Giants. But before I let you know which books I got in the totals, look at the anticipated lineup tonight here that we're going to look for the Giants. Yastrzemski, 385 weighted on base average versus righties. Posey, 481. Belt, 372. Crawford, 403. And even the guys that aren't doing much damage here, Talkman, 311, which is just below average. Even take a look at Flores, 325, which is right on average. This lineup should be able to hit getting a full 9 at-bats today. Also, keep in mind, yesterday, when we looked at the Pirates, they played, the Giants didn't play. 6 pitchers out of the bullpen were used by the Pittsburgh Pirates. So maybe you're getting a day where maybe some of the key contributors out of the bullpen are either A, tired or not available. 9 at-bats, I think we get it. I got this at MGM. It was expensive. 3.5 minus 160 as a team total. But because I like to ride with you guys, I went to FanDuel and took the 4 minus 114 as well. I think the Giants get to 5 runs tonight, but I always like to buy it down here to give myself a little bit more leverage on if I get 4 runs tonight, which they should, I'm going to cash that ticket as opposed to push. If you can get it at FanDuel at 4, fantastic. The play, as always, is graded on MGM for me, 3.5 minus 160, but there's no reason to believe we're not getting the 5 runs tonight. Play of the day, best bet and banker, San Francisco Giants getting that total tonight. I'm excited. 6:35 start Eastern time, so we'll have some fun with that. Let's flip it around to the odds lightning round. around Major League Baseball and have some fun with this. San Francisco, Pittsburgh comes up right on the docket here. I'm going to start with you, Jason. Quick thoughts once again on this game.
Yeah, I love the Giants. They're going to walk a ton. Lots of traffic on the base pass. I'm officially on the Giants minus 0.5 in the first 5. Donnie's on the team total. So we love the Giants in this spot and obviously think that they're going to destroy.
Yeah, and by the way, really quickly here in the chat box, we noticed before the show about a half hour, BetMGM is doing a maintenance during the afternoon. The joke for me here is that if they reappear and go the way of William Hill saying, I can't take these team totals anymore. Like, I just can't do it. I don't know why, because every game is under, it seems like, besides the ones that sometimes we're picking and choosing on. They'd be fools to take away the team total overs completely here. But it is what it is, and just having fun with that. I hope that's not the case. Keep the team totals up every day. Every once in a while here, Jason, I still check William Hill to see if they got back in the game, but they still haven't done it so far. But it is what it is. Let's keep going. Cincinnati and Colorado. Chichi Gonzalez is on the mound. I got to tell you, I do like Cincinnati's team total. It's pretty steep at that 5.5 range, depending on where you're shopping at. But there's no reason to believe Cincinnati can't tag him for 6 runs in this game.
Yeah, they really should. And like I said, it's my favorite play of the day. I like him in the first 5, minus 0.5 at minus 110. Love Suarez, Moustakas, Castellanos, Winker, Senzo, wherever you want to go in this lineup, they have an advantage. So it's my play of the day. I love the Reds tonight. It's a love-hate relationship, me and those Cincinnati Reds. Sometimes they make me a ton of money, and other times they make me look really stupid. Hopefully they make me look smart today. Nice weather as well out there in Colorado, finally. So I'll take those Reds in the first 5, minus 0.5, minus 110.
Yeah, Daniel Pacheco says, can't get the 3.5 at other books. You actually can. 3.5 minus 167 is at Fox Bet. So my best advantage, which me and Jason will tell you, sometimes you got to go to the betting capital of the world, move into New Jersey. It is all here available, completely 1,000% legal. But the good part about BetMGM as well is it's in 10 states, so it's big, if not bigger than any sports bet book out there. That's why I do like to focus on that, because as more people can bet that, obviously it's the biggest book. That's the one I like to use. And no shame in my game that they do offer you buy downs, which William Hill used to do. They don't certainly do that anymore. But let's keep it around the clock here and get some input here. Miami and Arizona, which again, I lost some McDonald's money on this game. 8.5 is the total across the board. Why are we going to see runs tonight? Roof's open again. Maybe some things pop off. I believe we had 4 runs through 2 innings as well last night and still couldn't even hit the total in that game, Jason.
Yeah, this game is kind of weird. With the way Rogers has pitched so far this season, I expected the Marlins to be heavier favorites, and then you look at the Diamondbacks, and they're just basically it's mostly a pick 'em. That's why I stayed off the Diamondbacks, but they hit lefties. They hit them well, and so I do think the Diamondbacks have the advantage here against Rogers, but it would be also kind of hard to be betting against Rogers and sticking with Kelly, who's looked pretty good the last 2. So I do like the Diamondbacks here. I think under 5 is the play. Maybe being a little crazy here, but yeah, I think under 5 would be in the first 5 is the play. I think the Diamondbacks are the better team in this matchup as a slight underdog.
There you go. Keep it moving down the list.
Nerfy spot. There's the one Nerfy spot for the day. Arizona, Miami. That's what I like for a Nerfy today. Sorry for jumping in.
Please sack Gilbert. Give us some information on this one, Kyle. Late night, your neck of the woods, 7.5. 7.5? Good Lord. What are we looking at here?
Cleveland, Seattle, is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Cleveland, Seattle over here.
Yeah.
Let's see what minus 1. It's a slight favorite towards Cleveland here. It's hard to bet Seattle, but it is what it is.
It is. Well, I like Plesac tonight. I'll tell you that, and I like him in DFS. He's looked good. He profiles really well. The lowest weighted 3 or OPS advantage here is for Plesac against the Mariners. So I do like the Indians' first 5. You're getting plus money minus 0.5 as well here on my bookie, which I also have a love-hate relationship with that book. But minus 0.5 at plus 115 for Cleveland here. I just think they're the better team. Their lineup has more advantages here against Gilbert. And, of course, Plesac is the better pitcher. So I'll take those Indians' first 5. And I think it's a really solid bet. One of my 2 official bets of the day.
Yeah, people, if you ever vacationed in New Jersey, like let's just say Kyle comes now from Oregon and he just goes on and just is betting at all these sports books online. He may never go back to Oregon.
Exactly.
Because it is like we have a dream scenario in the Garden State. And yes, the betting capital of the world. It's great. It's awesome. Hopefully it gets out there because each day it looks like, sports book turning on here, sports book turning on there. We got 10 states here. Maybe by next year we'll have 15 or 16 states. Why they're not all 50 states immediately? No idea what anybody's waiting for at this point. But eventually it'll get out to you. but it's such a nice advantage to be in New Jersey. But again, 10 states, most of these books are in 10 states, the big boys here. So they are creeping across the diamond. Let's clear the bases out here and go over our best bets and bankers once again here, Jason. I'll start with you first.
Yeah, I'm on the Giants minus 0.5 in the first 5, and also the Rangers and Astros over 8.5 at minus 120.
There you go. Kyle?
Well, I'm going to say Reds first 5, minus 0.5, minus 110, and I'll take those Cleveland Indians minus 0.5 at plus 115 in the first 5, and I like Kyle Tucker for a little home run prop tonight. Nerfy, Miami, Arizona.
And by the way, taking the masks off here across the nation. You want to go to the casino? You don't want to wear a mask? You don't have to. You want to go out and get a sandwich at the corner? Don't have to. We are opening back up, which means in just a few weeks' time, should be tomorrow, packed houses across Major League Baseball, because as a Phillies fan, I was watching the Atlanta Braves, which the Mets are going to take on the Braves. They've been at 100% capacity in their stadium for a long time. It's about time that states like I live in New Jersey actually woke up and followed the science and said, hey, you don't have to wear a mask if you're vaccinated. Thank you for once. We can finally start living our life, but we are rocking and rolling, ready to go. I like Cincinnati's team total. I like Houston's team total. Best bet and banker, San Francisco team total as we get out of here on a Thursday. Kyle made it all the way through the show. Congratulations to you. Hopefully we get some sleep for you tonight and a rocking and rolling show here on Friday. Thank you guys for tuning in on a Thursday here. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave those comments in the chat box. Thanks again for supporting the show. I'm Donnie Seymour. He is Jason Radowitz along with Kyle Purviance. We are sportsbookreview.com, and this was your Major League Baseball show for Thursday. Good luck on those wagers.